Staying silent costs us years of our lives.
Welcome to Women Thrive Season 5. This season, you can expect incredible conversations with women from all around the world. We at Women Thrive, not only do we put on incredible conversations with women, host events, retreats, publish a magazine, publish books, and we have created a platform for every woman to shine and share her message. So you right now tapping into a podcast that is globally recognized as the place for women to be and share their message. Be inspired, be part of the conversation, and let's thrive together.
So, hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Women Thrive podcast. My name is Abigail Rebecca. I am so excited, as always, to introduce you to the fabulous women within our community, many of whom are speaking actually on the Women Thrive stage. This is the first time I can say it this year, because as we're recording this, it's beginning of January 2026, and we have got our amazing Women Thrive Summit. Always takes place the third week of March, and this year is no exception. And we have got the most fabulous speakers to be able to share with you, many of whom we are introducing you to on our podcast. So this is what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to be introducing you to another one of our fabulous speakers. And today we're going to be speaking about authorship, writing a book. One of the things that so many people share with me, and actually Brenda, who's our guest today, we were just speaking off camera, also mentioned as well, is that I speak to quite a few women actually who either have written a book or attempt to write a book, and they don't realize how cathartic and healing it is, but actually in the moment it can be very confronting, it can be very triggering, it can bring up many memories, many ways. Memories and fears and limiting beliefs and all sorts of things that can come up, which really need to be healed. But very often that can stop women in their tracks. So if you resonate with that, if a book has been in you for years and you haven't finished it yet, or you've always wanted to write a book, then this is the podcast episode for you. So please sit back and relax. And I've got my cup of tea with me, as always, and we're going to have a wonderful conversation with our guest today. Our wonderful guest today is Brenda Hukel. She is a leading voice in women's empowerment and personal transformation. After more than 30 years in organizational development and transformational coaching, she left a very successful executive career to help women reconnect with their authenticity and inner authority. As the founder of Awakening the Consciousness Within, Brenda guides women beyond internal barriers shaped by conditioning, self-silencing, and inherited belief systems, while also supporting those who feel called to write a book from lived experience and personal truth. Brenda, I've been very excited about interviewing you. Welcome to the Women
Thank you,
Thrive podcast.
Abigail. I'm excited to be here. This is such an opportunity.
It's such a juicy subject because I know there's so many people out there. Well, I've just said there's so many people out there that think, oh, I write a book. The challenge is going to be sitting down and getting the words out, right? That's the challenge. But actually, as we know, then more challenges can come up. So I am really excited to kind of discuss this with you a little bit further and understand your process. But before we dive into that, I'd really love to know from you a little bit more about your story. Like, why do you feel called to do the work that you do?
Oh, that's a great question. Like you said, I spent over 30 years in corporate America, and I worked at all levels of the organization, from CEOs to doctors to frontline employees. And by all external measures, I was extremely successful. Promoted multiple times, I received awards. I had a very prestigious career, but inside, I always felt disconnected from my truth. Always felt disconnected from my truth. And when I lost my sister to alcoholism at age 46, that quiet knowing kept growing stronger and stronger, but I ignored it for another 10 years because I had this belief system. I was driven by this belief system that equated success with continuing to climb that corporate ladder, do more, achieve more, work more. And in my final years as an executive, I was in a very toxic tribal environment that resisted change, but they demanded conformity. And so when I refused to conform, when I refused to conform to their behaviors and their patterns and change my core values, they made my life very difficult. So as the pressure intensified, I found myself standing alone because everyone turned against me. But I accepted that because in those moments, I saw my sister. I saw the millions of women conditioned across generations that are taught that their needs don't matter, that they're not enough, that they're expected to take care of everybody, be the strong one, and that everything, all their needs come last. And that lit a fire in me. Because one thing my sister's death taught me, the alcohol wasn't what killed her. The alcohol was not the cause, it was the symptom. But the cause was these deep-seated inherited beliefs that she wasn't enough, that she didn't deserve the life that she desired. So when I witnessed her struggles, because I couldn't save her, and so many women that I coached and had the same conditioning, one thing that became so clear to me, Abigail, was staying silent costs us years of our lives. And I could no longer stay silent. I could no longer ignore the truth. So at age 55, I walked away from everything. I walked away from my executive role, my prestigious career, my comfortable lifestyle, because I knew I was meant to write courageously authentic. And this was tricky because my husband was very ill at the time, living on Social Security. So I left a lot of money on the table and I walked away and I wrote the book. So that's how I embarked on my new journey at age 55. And I've never regretted it.
It's a great story, Brenda.
Thank you.
And the words courageously authentic really describe a lot of what you were speaking about there, especially taking that big leap of faith, leaving corporate. And I'm sure that so many women can resonate with your story
Hmm.
for corporate. I certainly can. And that's why a lot of us are running our own businesses now.
That's right. That's right.
You were talking there about imposter syndrome, kind of lack of self-belief, self-doubt.
Hmm.
Why do you feel, from your experience, when it comes to writing books, why do you think that there are so many women that really want to do this and share their story in some way, but they're held back by this self-doubt or imposter syndrome?
Yeah, self-doubt, it doesn't mean that you're not ready to write a book. It means that you're stepping into a territory that no one's ever prepared you for. So then imposter syndrome is very slippery, right? Imposter syndrome is this deep-seated fear of being found out, that you're not good enough. You're not enough. But if we could just shift our mind on the imposter syndrome, it means you're standing on the edge of transformation. Because when you write, when you tell your story, your lived experience, because your lived experience is not something that can be taught. Or you write about consciousness, those unhealed emotions are going to come to the surface to be healed. There's no other way. So that's why most of my clients, when I work with them, they're not afraid about writing the book. They're afraid to be seen. They're afraid that their vulnerability of sharing their story, sharing their truth, is going to be misunderstood or judged. That's what they're afraid of.
We were talking about this before we hit record, and you said something that really resonated with me. And you said a lot of women heal in secret because they don't
Hmm.
want anyone to know that they're doing the healing work. So it's almost like we go away and heal in secret, like it's a dirty little secret, like there's something, like you say, like there's something wrong with us. And then we come back and we're like, ooh, transformation. But actually, in my experience, what I've found is that the women really that are able to share those periods of transformation and those healing are the ones that do come across most authentic because you can really relate to it and really resonate with it as well, can't you? And that's one way that you can do it
Hmm.
through writing a book.
Yeah, what I've seen in with a lot of my clients, even with coaching, is women on some level feel that they're the only ones that are carrying their shame or that secret or that fear. But the moment she shares her story, Abigail, that and someone says, "Oh my gosh, I feel the same way," that shame breaks. And that story becomes the bridge out of isolation and into freedom. Because she's ready to go out to the world to say, this is what happened to me. And she's no longer feeling the shame. She's realizing that her story is going to be someone else's inspiration to heal, to go on the healing journey, to stand so true to themselves that nothing else matters. That's why it's so important to share your story. Who's to say they're not going to be the next Brene Brown? Even if they wrote a memoir, and I research shows that memoirs don't sell that well unless you're a celebrity, but why couldn't you put it into a novel, right? Our shared experiences, or some of them are pretty deep. Why not put it into a novel? You could be the next Nora Roberts. You don't know. I had no idea the outpour of recognition when I published my book. I mean, it literally took off. It went global. I was featured in Times Square, New York City, USA Today, Associated Press twice. And I didn't even know that all that was going to happen. So we don't know what's on the other side of that. But even with all that recognition, which I was so grateful for, what means more to me is these women are reaching out to me and saying, your book saved my life. You met me exactly where I was. This is the first time I felt seen and heard. And that means more to me because when I was writing Courageous and Authentic, I was very mindful how I set it up, how I structured it, and the words I used, because it wasn't about me. My goal was to reach the hearts and minds of women across the globe. So it wouldn't matter if what their education level was, their ethnicity, that they would be able to understand it and feel heard and seen. And that's the feedback I'm getting. And even men are reading it now and they're just like, they're giving me the same feedback, which is great because women want to heal in private. This is one of the reasons why I created the Journey Back to You bundles because it takes, you can either use it with my book or you can use it individually, it doesn't matter. But in my book, each chapter has exercises to go through. And I even created a journal that you can use with it. But these bundles take each one of the themes. So whether you're struggling with fear or imposter syndrome or unconscious victimism, whatever you're struggling with, you can buy the individual bundles. And there's a workbook, there's a guided meditation. I even wrote songs for each theme, inspirational songs, and there's affirmation cards. So you can go deeper in the private of your home. Because I just wanted to give the tools to the women to be able to heal and to go on this journey and not have to worry about everybody knowing their business.
Yeah. Congratulations on everything that you've achieved, Brenda. I feel very
Thank you.
fortunate to have been connected with you for a couple of years now and from the outside watched your journey and watched your transformation. And it's just wonderful what you've been able to create and a real role model, I believe, for women, especially in corporate. There's so many women that want to take that leap and
Hmm.
create something really significant, and you've been able to do that. And of course, whenever we speak, whenever if you write an article in the Women Thrive magazine or you come and speak on one of the Women Thrive showcase or on the podcast today, you work with women that have kind of reached a certain period of age, don't you? So when it comes to storytelling, and I believe that as women, we're the gatekeepers, we're the holders of the story. We're the ones that have passed down the story generation to generation around the campfire. What is it about women that are over 40 which makes them such an amazing storytellers?
Because they have this such a deep experience of lived experiences. Their experience is so much has so much depth to it that you can't teach that. So when they write their story and they share their truth, then other women can connect with that. It almost gives other women permission to say, I matter too. Someone gets me. Someone understands. I'm not suffering in silence anymore. I'm not suffering in isolation. That's why when you tell the story, and like I said earlier, and someone says, I feel that too, it bridges that gap and you're no longer feeling like you're alone.
Mm. What are some of the things that you discovered about yourself when you were writing your book, Brenda?
Oh, that everything came because when I wrote about consciousness, right? And my mentor at the time told me that if I write about consciousness, that I'm going to be challenged. I'm going to be tested by the universe. I'm like, I got this. No clue. No clue at all. And she's like, Brenda, you just came out the most intense Dark Night of the Soul I've ever seen anybody come out. And she said, you don't understand. I'm like, I got this. So as I was writing Abigail, every chapter I wrote, she was absolutely right. And I was tested to the core. So when I got to my imposter syndrome came up, all the fear came up, all the unhealed emotions, the guilt of carrying my sister's death with me because I couldn't save her, all that came up. And I had to work through it. But I was grateful for all the experiences because they turned out to be some really good chapters in my book. And the last chapter is aligning with Christ consciousness, and that means that you surrender and you trust, right? So that I remember sitting at my desk, and I was working off a massage table for to 2 years because I couldn't afford a table, and I had two side tables that my neighbor threw away. That's what I was working off of, and I remember sitting here thinking, this is the final chapter, then I'm going to go out to the world. And that chapter was probably the hardest test that I had because I almost lost my husband. So I had to get to a point where I surrendered his decision to live or die. And I remember sitting here looking at my manuscript and I started bargaining with God, saying, if you don't take him from me, because he's the only one I have in my life, I'll burn my manuscript. And then I realized the commitment I made to write the book. In that moment, I had to surrender. And he lived, thank goodness. But that's what I mean. When you write and you write about your lived experiences, it's going to come up. And that's okay. Just be comfortable being uncomfortable. Because when you get to the other side of that, there's such a sense of freedom and peace that your authenticity is going to matter more to you than anything else in the world. Anybody's opinion, anybody's judgment, it won't matter because you know what you're doing is reaching masses of people and helping.
Mm. I believe that from so many women that I've spoken to that have written books, including yourself, it's there are certain lessons, there's certain challenges that if we choose to confront
Hmm.
and not hide away or ignore or numb out from, when we can overcome that, those are the life lessons. And I believe that a book gives you that perfectly packaged up, right? Everything at once. So thank you for sharing your challenges with
Hmm.
us. And I'm glad that your husband is okay.
Me too.
Is he well now?
He's very well now.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's good to hear. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Really good. A lot to celebrate. So let's go on to practical terms then. So I'm here, I'm listening to the podcast. I'm intrigued. I'm like, okay, yes, I've got a book within me. I want to write a book. Like, what would you say are the first steps for anyone that would want to do that?
I would say it's really about it's clarity. It's really getting very clear on what experience you want to share and why and who needs to hear it. Why now? Because when you've got that written and you are very clear on who you want your target audience to be, like I picked women because of my sister,
Mm.
what experience I wanted to create, what I wanted to share, and why now, you're going to build your whole framework around that, your whole legacy. So one of the things that I created for nonfiction writers is a complete toolkit, a writer's toolkit, because women need the emotional support and they also need the strategic piece of it. But part of that is it's a suite of digital tools that takes you through your whole authorship journey. So from your selecting your target audience and what you want your book to be and how you want to structure it, all the way through to post launch and setting up a legacy. And there's even an AI companion tool in there that it does not write your book. I actually had them made them put code in there so it wouldn't write your book because I don't believe AI should write your book. But it goes through this prompts, a series of prompts, and gets you very clear on who your target audience is, how you want to structure your book, how you want to structure your chapters. So you have that because if you don't have that clear and you start writing, you're going to be doing a lot of rework and you won't realize until you're at the end of it and you're going to see it doesn't flow or it doesn't resonate with your audience. So that's why I created the whole bundles, the emotional piece and the technical side of it. I want the new authors, the women, because you don't know what you don't know when you're starting to write a book. You just dive into the book, and then what I realized very quickly is writing the book was the easy part. It's everything else that goes into publishing. It's a lot. And that's why a lot of people don't publish because they get so overwhelmed with everything else. So that's why I wanted to put together the digital tools so they can enjoy the journey and have the templates and everything they need to do what they need to do.
And then for the emotional resilience piece and the healing
Hmm.
piece, you provide one-on-one support for that as well, don't you?
I do.
In a
Yeah.
capacity. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
It's really whatever I try to meet my clients exactly where they're at on their journey. And some are just beginning, others are already written a book and they don't know what to do after that. So I do provide coaching, one-on-one coaching, and it's just really providing a safe space for them so that they feel heard and feel understood. So wherever they're at on their journey, we pick up right there and then we move on. Because my goal is to set them up for success. That's my goal. It's like I said before, it's not about me. It's about them and how can I support them, make them successful.
Fantastic. We're really looking forward to having you speaking on the
Oh,
Women's
yeah.
Rights Summit this year, Brenda. Can you share a little bit about what you're going to be talking about
Hmm.
on the summit?
I'm going to be talking about breaking the author ceiling. And I'm going to use a five-step process that I've designed. Starts with awareness and ends with awakening. I'm going to walk through the whole process about breaking the ceiling, the fear, the anxiety, and really stepping into your authenticity. Because being courageously authentic is really standing firm in your truth, even when the world asks you to change. And so I want women across the globe to be able to share their stories, write their book, enjoy, have the courage to leave corporate if they need to leave the toxic environments, the toxic relationships, and really put themselves first. So that's what I'm going to be talking about at the summit.
What are you most looking forward to about it?
There's just so many remarkable women. And I've made so many great relationships and learned so much from these women. So being able to listen to them, I'll feel honored to hear their stories and what they're going to be offering.
Mm. It's been fantastic having you, Brenda, in the
Oh, thank you,
community and
Abigail.
on the calls and on the showcases and just listening to not only following your journey and your evolution, but also hearing your words of wisdom. I'd love to hear you speak. You're very unique in the fact that you bring all of that practical, tangible experience from corporate.
Hmm.
And I know a lot of us from corporate backgrounds can really resonate with that. But then your subject matters, right, is on a different realm, literally on a different
Yeah.
realm. And no wonder you were didn't fit quite
Nope.
in corporate.
No, I didn't fit. Nope.
Fantastic. I am celebrating that. What's next for you?
Well, I'm really going to work and pursue this authorship piece because as my work is evolving, more and more women are reaching out, asking for my coaching and asking for the coaching on how to become an author and how to be successful, set up a legacy, and how they can use their book to really create a legacy, whether it's courses, whatever they want to create, speeches, courses, retreats. So that's where I'm really going to be focusing on going forward. It's fun.
Fantastic. Good. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
You're on an incredible path, and there's so many women in this world that need you, that do have a
Thank you.
story and will be able to. It's like you're supporting all of those women that are going to go on and impact so many people through writing their book. So I'm really excited to follow your journey.
Oh, thank you, Abigail. Yeah.
Are there any sort of last words of advice or anything that you'd like to leave with the audience today?
I would say just keep choosing you. Just keep choosing you. And I know this journey can be challenging, but I will stand by and guarantee that once you're on the other side, and you really step into what you want to do and really love yourself and put your needs first, everything else changes. Everything will shift. And you're going to move out of that fear-based imposter syndrome, all the emotional barriers that keep you stuck and keep you from being courageous into this sense of freedom and peace that you've never experienced before. And that's what you deserve. That's what women deserve. We grew up, unfortunately, with these generational patterning, generational conditioning, because it's passed down from ancestors to generation to generation to generation. And we grew up with these inherited beliefs. So I feel that our role is to break the ancestral lineage and really step into our power and show our daughters and the new generation that it's okay to stand firm in what you believe, and be respectful, of course, but we don't have to keep repeating these generational patterns. We can choose again. That's why we have free will. So keep choosing you, is what I would say.
Yeah, that's wonderful. It's a wonderful legacy to leave, Brenda, and it has to happen. It has to happen,
It has to
especially
happen.
with women. We're incredible leaders, and yeah, I think if you things need to change, and this is the time for women to step in into higher and more powerful and impactful leadership positions, but on their own terms, not trying to emulate everyone else, which is
Right.
obviously our background, right, from corporate. And you're talking about courageously authentic. It's about doing things your way, not just following the status quo. Because where does that get us? We just carry on doing what we've always done.
Right. We're repeating the patterns. So it's giving yourself permission that you deserve to be happy. You deserve to have the life you want, not the expectations from everyone else.
Yeah,
That's a big difference.
yeah. That's such a
It
great
takes courage. That's why I named my book Courageously Authentic. It takes courage.
Brenda, where can we find you? Where do you hang out online? Your website? I know you've done a lot of work on that. So where can we find you and connect with you?
I am on all social media platforms, but if you go to my website, brendahukel.com, everything's there. And then you can contact me there. There's a place to contact me, and all my social media links are there as well. That's the easiest.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on and being a
Oh, thank
guest
you,
on
Abigail. My pleasure.
just gorgeous looking at your beautiful scenic snowy garden there through the
Yeah,
window.
that's Connecticut for you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Brenda.
All
Thank
right,
you for
Abigail,
coming
thank
on.
you.
Thank
All right.
you. Thank you, everyone, for watching, for listening. I think it's time to write that book, don't you? It's time. I mean, if there was ever a sign from the universe, now this is the sign. So reach out to Brenda, go onto her website. We'll put all the links down below. You can go and find her, and also make sure that you sign up as well to watch her talk on the Women Thrive Summit this coming March, because I know that it's going to be a goodie. Thank you so much for being a wonderful audience, for your support. Please reach out to Brenda. If you have any questions about sharing your story, about writing your book, I know that she'll be really happy to support you in that. And we will see you on the next episode of the Women Thrive podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Women Thrive Podcast. I'm so thankful for you as a listener for spending time with us, myself and my co-host Abigail, to hear our conversations with our guests. If you have had the opportunity to hear our podcast, do make sure you leave a review and share this episode with your audience as well. This has helped us reach the 5 top percent globally ranked podcast, as well as reach more than 30,000 downloads to date. Your support means so much to us, and this is how we get to reach more people around the world. At Women Thrive Media, we're here to amplify voices of women and empower women to take the center stage and shine a spotlight on their messages.
So, hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Women Thrive podcast. My name is Abigail Rebecca. I'm so excited today to come to you and to talk about some really important things, and also to introduce you to another one of our wonderful Women Thrive speakers who will be speaking on the Women Thrive 2026 Summit. So, the question that I wanted to ask you today is around like the trajectory of your life. Do you feel like you're on course? Do you feel like you are achieving all of your goals, that you are walking a very clear path to where you want to be, who you want to be? Or does it feel like things have gone off a little bit, right? That you're not exactly on that path, and maybe some choices and decisions that you've made have not been aligned to your values, to your goals, to your big vision, and certainly to your dreams. Well, our speaker today and the amazing woman that I'm interviewing today wants to talk to us about this, because we all have choices in life, and sometimes we might feel that we don't have a choice in a certain matter, but actually we do. We have a choice. We can say yes, we can say no to something, we can empower ourselves, but actually sometimes it might not feel like you have the confidence to make the choice that you really want to go with, and maybe it feels like you're going a little bit with the status quo. So this is going to be our conversation today. I would love to introduce her with her official bio. So I would love to introduce you to Annette Williams. She's the founder of Silverbrook Hypnotherapy, where she specializes in helping professional women get the credit they deserve by unblocking their confidence to stand up and speak out. Annette believes that everyone is entitled to live a life they love without limitations, and that boosting your self-belief can be truly transformational. So before becoming a cognitive behavioral therapist, Annette had a distinguished 38-year career as a BBC TV producer, where she worked with everyone from Hollywood A-listers and the royal family to first-time presenters and members of the public. Annette's unique approach blends creative industry experience with bespoke therapeutic techniques, including hypnosis, to address issues like performance anxiety, public speaking fears, social anxiety, and phobias. So welcome, Annette. It's amazing to have you here.
Thank you very much, Abigail. I'm delighted to be here.
I love that you are speaking here about confidence and about overcoming any of the limiting beliefs. And we might have women that are watching this podcast right here, right now, that really want to do something like this. Maybe they want to be a guest on a podcast, they want to speak on stages, they want to put themselves out there, and maybe not feeling the confidence to be able to do that. So I think this is a really interesting conversation that we're having today, and also to give ourselves choices to make the decisions to do these things that empower us and give us confidence to live our lives that way.
Absolutely. I mean, I've experienced this myself. I see clients with it. I see it with the students that I work with and the people I've worked with throughout my career. Helping people stay aligned and true to their heart's desires in a path going forward. With that comes happiness, fulfillment, some challenges, of course. There's no fast track to avoid challenges in life, but doing something that is true to yourself and where you feel in control of the situation rather than things are happening to you is a real important step in feeling in control and having that self-belief and that empowerment back.
Yeah, it's so important, isn't it? I think before we pressed record, you were talking about it's the difference between being a horse, slightly like letting the horse lead you, or being on the horse. It's actually making those decisions to make conscious choices that are aligned with our value and our mission and our vision in life, as opposed to kind of being sidetracked by other people, because other people can be really distracting, can't they?
They can, and it's important to realize that we are in control of not everything that happens to us, but to large proportions, both in our personal and our professional lives. And